Hello and welcome back together to my weekend update on the financial markets. My name is Jens and today we discuss, like every weekend update, the following assets: S&P 500, US oil, gold and Bitcoin against the US dollar at the weekly, daily and 4-hour time frame, so that you know what to do in the markets the days ahead. Let's start directly with S&P 500 on a weekly time frame. The S&P 500 on the weekly is doing exactly what we discussed in our last episode. He is correcting down to this weekly orange solid uptrend line, where I expect to find support and then to eventually make a new impulse to the upside. But there's one thing: we got this MACD divergence here at the weekly time frame to price. Price is making higher highs, MACD is making lower highs. We had a similar situation here back in the days where price was also making higher highs and MACD lower highs, and what followed was a massive correction. I don't think that the massive correction will be present as well here. I think a normal correction could be enough, but let's see if we see price finding here support, if we get there and starting a new impulse, or if we see a breakdown and have to fear more falling prices. But in active trading we don't have to fear anything because we can participate also from falling prices. Let's drop down to the daily time frame. Here you can see this daily white solid uptrend line. That one got broken to the downside. We've seen already a correction to it, and since then we are declining lower. Here you can see an intact uptrend, higher highs and higher lows. Then we have seen the break, then a lower high and a lower low. That confirmed that we are in a downtrend, and I expect it to continue till we see here around this area finding price resistance. Probably next week it will be that far that we will see price meeting this weekly uptrend line here. If we go one time frame lower, we are at the 4-hour time frame. We can see here that the 200 moving average is at the moment meeting price. Maybe this will be again a little bit of support here. We will see price getting higher and then eventually declining lower to meet our target, the weekly uptrend line. And from there on, either we see a breakdown, a retest, and a break of the retest to the downside that will be speaking for more bearish price action, and we can trade it around this level here, but more to that on future episodes. Or we see price finding support here, creating a bottom, and then starting again with higher highs and higher lows, so an uptrend, and from there on another impulse on the weekly to the upside. That would be tradable in different scenarios. Maybe if we see price above this 4-hour dotted downtrend line, or even earlier if we are a little bit more brave and want to find an early entry, we take it here. But here the risk is higher, so probably I will risk lower, maybe, or less, maybe 0.5% to maximum 1% of my account balance. And here I would be more confirmed this outbreak, so we could go with maybe 1 to 2% risk into this trade. But at the moment I'm only waiting for price to come down and then decide what I will do, and I will inform you about that in the next video like always. That's it at the moment for the S&P 500 index. Let's switch together to US oil against the US dollar. Crude oil, I want to start here with you together at the monthly time frame, where we can see this monthly red downtrend line. Every time it touched price, it acted as resistance and price got rejected to the downside. Well, then we had finally the breakout, and since then we moved into a corrective phase that we can see better at the weekly time frame. There was also able to throw a orange weekly downtrend line above the structure. The structure got already broken to the upside, but since then we haven't really seen a breakout to the upside. But maybe that will come in the future. At the weekly, here you can see that the MACD indicator crossed to the upside, which is normally a bullish sign. And here you can see that price struggled to fall deeper, so we find here kind of support area for price, and because of that price was able to break higher from here. At the daily time frame you can see this triangle I was drawing in, where we bounced inside till we have seen the breakout and a retest. At the 4-hour time frame you can see my trade I was doing because of that. Here the breakout of the triangle, the retest, the break of the retest to the upside, a small correction, and then we went above this correction, and that was the trigger to get into this long trade. Stop loss below the setback, take profit slightly below a monthly resistance zone where I was expecting price to find resistance and bounce back to the downside. It did, but then we got a second move I wasn't able to catch. but that's the game. At least I made profit here, 2.4 times my risk. If we look in my paper trading account, you can see that was roughly 1.5% in my account balance, or 1,400 US dollars. And then I got out of the trade with the profit, and then it went even higher. But then we find here some resistance again, and I think the MACD divergence is clear, so I would say this is probably the short-term top here, that we will see first declining prices before then eventually a breakout above this weekly orange dotted downtrend line here, because if we zoom out, that's the extension of the downtrend line I used for this triangle pattern here. And I think if we see a solid break, retest, and a break of the retest to the upside, so something maybe like this, that would be a great situation to be in for another long trade. If we see something like that, maybe we bounce and go all the way back lower, but I would inform you about that in future episodes. Yeah, that's it at the moment for crude oil. No trades expected for next week at least. Let's switch to gold. Gold here at the weekly time frame, where each candle represents 1 week of price action. Gold struggled a long time with getting above this resistance zone here, but the moment it did, we went higher a lot. Big impulse, then a correction, and another big impulse, and another correction. And I think it's likely that the correction already is over and that we are in the starting phase of a new weekly impulse to the upside. And why that's the case, or I'm thinking, we will discuss at the lower time frames. Here at the daily time frame, it gets a little bit choppy. Here's the daily white solid uptrend line, and that one got broken to the downside. And I was first expecting a clean ABC pattern, but it went everything but a clean ABC pattern. Now I thought I had here a small short position, and I thought we find here resistance again and get lower from there and make like B complete, and then from here on wait for a confirmation that the downtrend is over and get another long position to the upside. Price didn't what I was thinking, but no problem. We are adaptive as active traders. So this white dotted downtrend line is about to get broken to the upside, or already broke slightly to the upside, and that could be the sign that we made a correction, but more on a time-based scenario and not so much on a price-based scenario, if that makes sense to you. If not, let me know in the comment section and I will explain it a little bit more in detail if you want to. If we drop to the 4-hour time frame, you can see some 4-hour support and resistance zones here. And I think if we see here a nice move up, maybe bounce again like price did in the past here, find resistance, move lower, make a correction, and break this correction again to the upside. That could be a really nice setup for a long trading opportunity and profit from the next weekly impulse to the upside. That's the bullish view. And there's, like always, also a bearish view. We could also get up here, find again resistance, break lower, but no break above the correction here. Instead, we will drop again lower. And then we have to think about, if we interpret this as a failed breakout, then we can argue to maybe make a short position in a scenario like this. But we have to discuss that probably again in the next episode, if such a short trade is a good idea. I think the more likely scenario is that we will see the bullish scenario and the breakout and the retest, and that we will make a long trade there. But always your decision, you're the mastermind of your portfolio, so make decisions by yourself. I'm just giving you some ideas. That's my view on gold. Let's go to Bitcoin. Bitcoin against the US dollar. Beautiful chart. We went up into a long consolidation phase, slightly falling prices. Hard time to hodl Bitcoin. But then we had finally the breakout of this orange dotted downtrend line. And since then we skyrocketed to the upside. And that's the really the first significant correction in this uptrend. Because of that, no panicking. That's absolutely normal. And in old bull runs, we always touched somehow the 10-day or 10-week moving average, I have to say, and we do this right now. So the question is there enough of a correction and we start direct from here, the new impulse to the upside, or do we have to see a little bit more downside? Let's switch for that to the daily time frame. Here you can see that this daily white solid uptrend line is still intact and not tested. That could be an opportunity or an option for Bitcoin that will break lower and at least retest this daily uptrend line before then making higher highs again. Or we see even lower prices, but if we break this daily uptrend line to the downside, see a retest and a break of the retest to the downside, that would be pretty bearish, and I think that we will diminish a lot of gains here, and then this was probably already the top of this cycle. And I don't believe in that. Because of that, I don't believe in this path either. So that would be the most bearish scenario, but in my view, not the likeliest one. If we drop even lower, you can see that I went into a trade. In hindsight, I would said, maybe I would have skipped that one. But in hindsight, everybody is smarter than in advance. Yeah, we have here a 4-hour support zone where price always reversed again to the upside after testing it. So I was expecting it also here. We had here, in my view, an A, B, C pattern, a downtrend line that got broken to the upside. And then I wanted to see prices above point B, because that's a way to trade an ABC pattern. And then we have seen this consolidation here, and then this beautiful breakout with a massive engulfing green candle. And that was a sign to me to get into the market and set my stop loss below this ABC pattern. Pretty conservative in my view, but I was risking $1,200 plus minus, so roughly a little bit more than 1% of my account balance. Yeah, then Bitcoin turned immediately against me and went straight lower. And I was thinking about, oh man, should you close this trade? But that's not the trading plan. My plan was, if we get a lower low below this structure here, then I'm out of the trade, and that's the plan. I will keep that plan. Maybe Bitcoin recovers here and shaked a lot of people out with this move, and from there on is moving higher without retesting this daily uptrend line again. 50-50 chance, I would say, that we see my favorite scenario from here on, higher prices and a new impulse to the upside, or we take a longer way and take my stop loss, hit my stop loss, so I lose roughly 1% of my account balance, and then meet again this daily white uptrend line, and from there on then higher prices. These are the scenarios I think are likely, and I will adjust accordingly. So if we see this path, first I will have to realize my loss, no problem, and then I have to look for a change from a downtrend to an uptrend and then get long again. But I will inform you about that in future episodes like always. So for now I stay in this trade, and yeah, wish me all the best that this one holds. But otherwise I'm still good in profit with my account, so that wouldn't hurt the overall performance of the trading year. I'm pretty sure about that. Yeah, I wish you all a good trading week, and we see and hear us next time. Bye bye.